Hello humans. The idea of Fredo has seemed to transcend the Godfather franchise and can be found in modern pop culture. We are familiar with the Fredo character, but what does the term Fredo represent today? What does it mean to be a Fredo? After hours of in-depth research, I came across the following description. To be the black sheep in the family, like the one that is the goof and the screw-up. Named after Fredo Corleone, who was Michael's older brother in The Godfather, and he was considered to be the failure in the family. Based on this description, I realized there are Fredos lurking all around us. I decided to make this video to try to further understand the original Fredo Corleone, and his psychology. What I discovered was while Fredo had his shortcomings, the reasons behind some of his most disheartening decisions should not be discredited as simply dim-witted. They were made by a man who felt alienated by his family and believed he had something to prove. Fredo Corleone is played by John Cazale in The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. John delivers two brilliant performances, particularly in The Godfather Part 2, where his character's relationship with Michael Corleone, famously played by Al Pacino, is the soul of the film. It is clear from both films that Fredo Corleone is not cut out for the family business, i.e. organized crime. Fredo can manage some of the family's nightclubs, or accommodate important guests, but when it comes to handling the family's affairs, he is never considered for the role. Fredo lacks the cool, cutthroat nature needed to be a don, the boss of a mafia family. This is made apparent in The Godfather when Vito Corleone is shot. Fredo panics, drops his weapon while the gunmen get away, and breaks down whimpering beside his father rather than rushing him to a hospital. In a moment of crisis, Fredo becomes overwhelmed, struggling to do something as simple as hold a gun. A don is defined by how he acts in a moment of crisis. Knowing how to act accordingly during adversity garners respect from other notable figures. In the life of organized crime, being respected is your best bet at staying alive. The Corleone family treats Fredo as an errand boy. Fredo is content with this role until his older brother Sonny is murdered. Fredo becomes Vito's oldest living son and is supposed to assume the role of Don. To Fredo's surprise, Vito overlooks Fredo and chooses Michael as his heir apparent. You can tell from a conversation between Michael and Vito from The Godfather that Vito has little faith in Fredo.
I knew that Santana was gonna have to go through all this. And Fredo, Fredo was, and I never wanted this for you.
Fredo bears great public shame after being overlooked by his father. He feels Vito viewed him as incompetent and Michael as some golden child. Fredo's resentment toward Michael grows long after Vito's death. When an opportunity comes along for Fredo to have a notable stake in the family's affairs and outshine his brother, his pride gets the best of him and he takes it. Michael is doing business with a man named Hyman Roth when an associate of Hyman Roth named Johnny Ola approaches Fredo. Johnny tells Fredo that Michael is being tough on the negotiations and if he can provide him with some information, there would be something in it for him. Fredo complies and signs his own death warrant. Hyman uses the information Fredo gives Johnny to organize a hit on Michael. Michael survives and discovers Fredo betrayed him. When Michael confronts Fredo and questions his betrayal, we get one of the best written and acted scenes in the history of cinema.
He said that you were being tough on the negotiations, but if they could get a little help and close the deal fast, it'd be good for the family.
I've always taken care of you, Fredo.
Taking care of me? You're my kid brother and you take care of me? I'm your older brother, Mike, and I was stepped over.
That's the way Pop wanted it.
It ain't the way I wanted it. I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart and I want respect.
You can hear the pain in Fredo's voice when he says, "I'm your older brother Mike and I was stepped over." Fredo tells Michael that he did not want to have him killed, but that he wanted respect. Michael does not understand the shame Fredo felt by being overlooked by their father. In Michael's mind, Fredo's ignorance does not change the fact that he betrayed him. But it was not a betrayal. It was a short-sighted, but understandable mistake. Fredo is not as familiar with the con artistry that goes on during business negotiations because he was never given the opportunity to conduct any deals. Fredo is approached by a man in high places and for once in his life, he feels important. For once, he feels that someone does not see him as some jerk-off who bangs cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. As a member of the mafia, you cannot afford this line of thinking, and Fredo pays for it with his life. Fredo spends his final days around Michael and his family. Fredo's resentment towards Michael is replaced with guilt for putting his brother's life in danger. Fredo knows his days are numbered but accepts his fate as if doing so will wash him of his sins. Mirroring this idea, Fredo goes out in prayer while casting his eyes upon a vast lake. Killing Fredo haunts Michael for the rest of his life and begs the question, are the events of The Godfather Part 2 due to the sins of the father? If Vito had shown more faith in Fredo, he may have granted his son salvation. Make sure to like the video,
subscribe, and turn on notifications.